Welcome to the Deal Champs podcast. We are live. We have another amazing guest today. My name is Stratton Brown, aka Strat Daddy. We have Mr. Captain America, and we have the Master of Energy, Cody Hoffine. Cody Hoffine is a very high energy guy. Real quick about myself, I've scaled two different companies to seven figures. I made my first million in business at 25. We have a seven-figure real estate portfolio, and then we have the Captain America, Mr. Dean Rogers.
I'm here, baby. Ready to go today. Still on a high from Deal Champs Summit. It was out of this world, bazonkers, amazing. Was just writing a new post for social media today about it. Just a lot of gratitude coming from that. Excited to be back doing another episode with an incredible guest today. Guys, quick backstory on myself. Started my career in the NFL. Transitioned to corporate, then into real estate. Been investing in real estate for a decade now in Central California. Done 750 plus deals, 8-figure rental portfolio, coaching students how to get started in real estate with wholesaling. And you guys can always connect with me at deanrogers.com.
And then we have the Master of Energy, the man who has the biggest house I know. Cody might have the biggest house out of the people I know. It might be. Free and clear, though. No debt. Free and clear. 8,800 square feet. Mr. Cody Hoffine.
Well, 700, a little bit bigger. 8,100. 8,100.
8,100.
You know me. I love debt free on the personal stuff. Yes, Cody Hoffine. Excited to be here, guys. Dean, we just had you out at our event at Joe Homebuyer. Strat, we know each other from just family friends that live close to each other. And a little bit about me is, I would say, just entrepreneurship's in my blood. I worked for my dad my whole life, and then come 2010, I got into insurance, built and sold an insurance agency of all things that got me into finding out who entrepreneur or the real estate space. I was able to go to real estate investor associations just for insurance purposes, and found out that I was in the wrong trade. These people were making way too much more money than I was in the insurance space. So I sold that in 2017, co-founded Wholesaling Inc., which at the time was the largest wholesaling coaching program in the nation. We had the number one, this is before like Bigger Pockets and everyone. We had the number one real estate podcast, the number two business category podcast in the nation, and sold that in 2020. And just tail end of 2019, we started Joe Homebuyer, which is a real estate franchise company that shows people how to wholesale, fix and flip, and buy like long-term buy and hold, the investment strategy for long-term rentals. And so excited to be here. Let's go.
I listened to Wholesaling Inc. so much at the beginning. Like, I got started 2018, 2019. And wholesale. I remember your voice and your high energy. I was like, man, this guy is nonstop. Because you would go on, Tom would go on. Would Brent ever go on?
I feel like Brent would go on as well. Yes.
Yeah, Brent would go on. And it was like these three super high energy guys. Oh, yeah. First
Bro, it really was crazy. It was three high energy people. Like Tom's just I called him like a shaken up bottle of like a caffeinated beverage. That guy was ready to explode any minute. But Brent Daniels
was from him, by the way.
Yeah, dude. Does it say easy peasy lemon squeezy on it?
It says bam with big letters.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and then Brent. How do you compete with Brent? Whew.
The biceps.
Yeah.
And well, dude, I if I can, Strat, I want to ask about the couple businesses you were in. So, how did you know when to pivot? Was it, you know what? I just feel there's a different direction that's better, or business is too good, I want to capitalize on it, or business is slowing down. I can see it, I can feel it. I need to make a pivot to something that's better.
Such a great question. Yeah, it is a lot of stuff. Hindsight, you're able to see how you can connect the dots in life, right? But going forward, it's so hard. Like, entrepreneurship's a journey. It's a struggle. It's tough. It's really rewarding, but there's a lot of tough that's presented your way. But hindsight, yeah, I can tell you how and what all happened. So getting into insurance was already its own little like unraveling piece. I was actually selling vinyl fencing when I left my dad's business because 2009, the market tanked and he was in commercial construction. We built a company out here that was called RC Willey. We would build all those stores for that company.
Oh, that's dope.
And 2009, it like tanked my dad's business overnight. And so I went out and got a job while him and my brother were kind of like getting some basement jobs and things like that. And of all things, I sold vinyl fencing and as a company called Best Vinyl. But that's how I met Mark Stubler, who is now, fast forward, is my business partner. So you start to see these things hindsight, why this all had to lead this way. I was selling vinyl fencing in about, I don't know, 15, 20 times. I would knock on doors with people that set up appointments with our company, and I'd go in there and present their vinyl quote for their fencing. And they're like, man, you would be a great insurance agent. I'm an insurance agent. You would kill it. Like, you're selling me a fence. You'll never sell anything ever again. Like, it's a 30-year product. Like, why not have something with residual? And I was like, okay, that does sound cool. That's attractive. I ended up getting into being an independent insurance agent, representing many companies, started my own agency. And I thought, here was the thought. I couldn't tell you at that moment why I thought it was a great idea, other than hindsight, you see how it all happens. So I'm going through and I'm like, where would be an awesome client? It was real estate investors, in my head at least. I was like, they have a lot of homes that I can insure. So there's a ton of policies there. They have nice cars. So their policy for their auto is going to be more expensive than a typical person. They have big homes. And that was the mindset. So I'd go to and I Googled, how do I meet investors? And there was a real estate investor association in Salt Lake. So I went there and I just started getting plugged in. I really love connecting with people. Like, there's a superpower that Cody has. It's connecting with people. So I started connecting with people, started insuring one by one, and then just started passing me around. And 2015, Dean, this is where it like still gets real. It's like, why did you jump into it? Not because I saw the writing on the wall, as much as I came home early from work, which was never the case with insurance. You had to like stay late because you're getting 10% on a $500 policy. Think how many policies you're gonna have to sell to even make something. So I come home early. My wife's at the dinner table crying. And I just asked her what's going on. This is 2015, guys. This is 10 years ago. And she's like, do we put the leftover money that we have in the account for food tonight? Or do we pay the mortgage payment this month? And I was like, both. So that 2 nights later, I'm at the Real Estate Investor Association, never once listened to the real estate agents, never once listened to the investors. I was only there thinking, oh, that guy has 4 rentals. There's another guy I need to talk to. Some guy stands up and he says, I just got a home and I wholesaled it and I made like $29,000. And I'm like, wait, what? Come again? Like, what did you do? And he's like, yeah, and I did it in 3 days. I'm like, what? Like, what is this magic? And so I ended up doing it. I tried it and I was like, I've got to do this. Like, I came with a new set of ears. My wife's crying. I'm wondering how I'm going to make our next mortgage payment. I start trying it. I'm finding everything online to like point me down the road. Cause the guy that spoke that night, he wouldn't teach me. He's like, I can't show you. You're a driven individual. If I show you the blueprint, like I'm training my competition. I'm like, hey, I respect that. So 39 days later of attempting to try this, I do my first deal and it pays me $24,000. It changes the game like completely. I made $19,000 my first year for a whole year in insurance. I made 24 grand in 39 days. And I was like, what just happened? And from there, it was just go forward. So I sold the insurance agency out of the opportunity that was presented my way with real estate, but not because I was smart and thought, hey, this is cyclical. I wish I could say I was that smart. I'm not that smart, other than I could see a bigger opportunity by jumping into real estate investing.
How old were you when you did that?
That was, so 10 years ago. I'm 42. So that was at age 32, I jumped into it. And that was 2015. The name of the game's kind of changed also, Strat, to that point. So you got in 2018. Think how much the game has changed since 2018. I could send out $1,000 in postcards and get a deal like in my sleep. Gone are the days of sending $1,000 in postcards. Like, you're sending like $10,000 in postcards if you want a deal. Like, the name of the game's kind of changed. The cost to get into it has gone up. But what was it? It was just an awesome opportunity. And I got in and it just started scaling quick. I met Mark, remember from Best Vinyl. I called him up, like, dude, you got to quit Best Vinyl. Like, this is legit. And he goes out and tries it. He gets a deal within like a couple months. And so 2016, we partner up and we took Utah by storm. We're like, let's just see what we can do. And it went gangbusters. We were like, I think we did like 1.3 million our first year. And everyone's like, who are these young guys just coming in? Like, we've been in this game for 10 years and these young punks are coming in. It was fun. Really fun times.
What were the strategies you guys used to find deals during that time?
So that one was, to be honest, PPC wasn't a thing. Digital marketing wasn't. I mean, it was, but it wasn't the
But
name
it
of the
wasn't
game.
the
Like,
same thing.
Yeah.
no,
Now
the
it's-
name of the
if you don't do online, you're screwed, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure. It's completely swapped. So back then, I mean, direct mail, I'm not lying. 90%, 95% of my business was direct mail. And you could
Same here.
just, without fail, you could send out direct mail and you knew healthy deal flow was coming your way. I mean, 1.3 million our first year, that was 100% direct mail that year.
What kind
There
of
was, like, no other
properties? This
strategy.
was in Utah, right?
It was, yep.
Okay, so what kind of price points? What type of year built houses? Because I was just looking at our data. Like our typical house is that we find and do a deal on is between 1950 and 1975. But in Utah, aren't most of the houses more newer? Like new?
Yeah,
newer
no,
built
there's
houses?
still plenty of areas explaining what you just said. Like plenty
Okay.
of homes sitting in that category. And yes, majority still sat within that same category, same demographic. Homes that had been sitting a long time with no fancy fix-ups or anything that had been done to them. So yeah, same demographic, same age of homes. Yes, you'd get some newer homes, but that wasn't really what anyone was going after. They were always going after like the 1950 to 1980 was like the bread and butter,
Yeah.
but there was still a ton in the avenues that you're like 1910,
Yeah.
1915, 1920 that had knob and tube electrical and all this
And
weird,
you could make
crazy
a rip
stuff.
on them, though. You could make
Yeah.
a rip on the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does it make you sick thinking about how much you didn't triple down on that ad spend?
Mm.
Like knowing
No.
the returns you were getting on direct mail, to where if you would have tripled down and gone harder,
It's like if you knew what you knew now and were to
If
be
you knew
placed
what you
back
knew
during
now,
that time,
imagine
like,
that.
oh my gosh.
like imagine that. You would have been
Uh.
like, okay, I'm gonna go raise money. I'm gonna go get as much money, and we're just gonna get all the postcards we possibly can.
Yes. I mean, there's probably truth to what you just said. And then something I have noticed though, over from year one till still true today, is there is like a law of diminishing return at some point on every marketing channel.
For sure.
So I think we would have hit it at some point.
Of course.
I don't think we were there though, Strat. To your point, I don't think we were there. I don't think but there was months we were spending 15, 20 grand just on postcards.
Sure.
So I guess I don't know. Like we pushed the buck on it. I just don't know how much more of the buck we could. I mean, we were buying every list. I mean, anyone that had 10% equity, we were sending it to. And so I think we were doing stuff, and it was just so the cost. It was just so cheap to get a contract. That was the crazy thing. The competition was low. It was a great. I mean, that bull was awake. That last bull run. That bull was awake since. I mean, 2015 till hardcore. I mean, that's the best 6, 7, 8 years I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. I look at some of my costs per deal back during that time, and we're talking, sometimes it was $1,200, $1,500. It's 5 times that now. It's like
I was gonna say 10x.
if you get a deal for $5,000, oh, it's some of my marketing channels for sure. It's like, if you're at $5,000 a deal, like you're doing pretty good. You know what I mean? Like you're doing really good. Cost has gone up. Well, why do you think that is? Is it competition? Is it just the nature of the beast? What do you think it is?
I think there's quite a few things that play a role in that. I think there's uncertainty still in the economy, and there's people that are holding on, not wondering what's going to happen. I mean, no matter where anyone sits on the right side or the left side, there's uncertainty just in general, wondering where is this going to go. I think the other thing is you've had years of high interest rates. And so you've got these individuals that back in 2015, when rates were at 2.9, they're like, yeah, if I get cash, I can just roll it over and start all over again. Now they're thinking, I've got a 2.9 interest rate. I'm going to sell this so I can pick up a 7% interest rate. Like now they're thinking the game a little bit different and thinking and exploring all options possible. So I think there's that plays a role in it. I do think obviously a lot more individuals are in the game than it was in 2015. But then I don't know, you've got, at least in Utah, and I would assume it's probably the same in California. I mean, those same homes that were $250,000, $350,000 are now $750,000, $850,000. Like we're talking massive difference in what those homes are worth and what they were worth 10 years ago. I mean, it's crazy.
one thing I've learned when I'm making money in something, just shut up and don't tell a fucking soul. Because as soon as you tell a soul, more people are going to come in and then your returns are going to go down. So I think the internet and all of the coaches coming in, right? Because you were like
Selling Inc. ruined it.
you were the first like big coaching, but like if you think about all the online coaches now who are showing everybody how to do it, that obviously is going to make it harder for you. And is what I think a lot of it is. And then if you do look at the price points, though, Utah's gone up 5x, Fresno's gone up 5 to 7x. There's some stuff on the west side where when I started, you could get it for 50 grand.
Yeah.
Now you're in the 100 and something range. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
To where like I saw one go out for like 250. It's like, bro, that's insane. And that's only in what, since 2018, 2019. And
we had rentals that went up crazy, Strat. Like we had rentals. We were buying homes in Magna, West Valley. We were picking up for 80,000 to 150 at max. Every one of those rentals are worth 450 up to 600,000. Like it's nuts. I mean, these doors have, like you said, they've 5x, 6x. It's crazy. 27% gains year over year. I mean, that's insane. I don't know how my kids are going to live. I'm like, you're not living here forever, but you got to figure this out quick, boys and girls.
Do you own any rentals in Utah anymore, or have you liquidated?
No, we do, because they still have a great spread. And so we still look at it like the game of Monopoly. You have to look at where your money can be done higher. Right now, we still have quite a bit here. I'd say there's probably 15, 20 doors here in Utah that we still own. We have doors in North Carolina. We have car washes, things like that. But the numbers have to make sense. It's not just to buy it, but that the numbers make just crazy amount of sense. And so the car wash was never something on site. But yeah, they serve as a great purpose. We have quite a few of those that are free and clear here in Utah that we're able to leverage against, so that it's not just dead equity sitting there, that we'll use HELOCs and things like that so that we can still use the cash and put it to work. But yeah, we still have them here. I don't know how much longer I'll hold on to them. I have a little bit of philosophy and difference with real estate that might be against the grain for most people.
Where are you at as far as your comfortability with debt on rentals? Because I talked to Brent about this. Brent's like, bro, I just buy stuff cash. And he is like an all cash guy. And he was the first person in real estate who I met who was actually like that. So like, where are you at with it? Do you have
it's
a comfortability
interesting,
with
right?
it?
It's like polar opposites. Like debt, you got to have debt, massive amounts of debt, scale with debt, or free and clear. What do you think, Cody?
I don't know if there's a right or wrong. I think it all comes back to your comfort level. It comes back to the individual. And I can't say someone's right for going debt free, and I can't say someone's wrong for going leverage, because they both win. They both have a strategy that wins. We started out with the debt free model, and the reason why, it was probably because of our comfort level, to be completely honest, and our thoughts around everything. And your thoughts trigger the actions that you're going to start taking, and that was the results. We just owned our rentals free and clear. Yeah, we have leveraged rentals as well. But the free and clear, here's what it was. I would go to these real estate investor associations, and this is 2015, and I'd have individuals stand up, and they're like, hey, I'm so-and-so, and I am just on my second way back. I'm going to be building a massive portfolio. I had about 50 homes, and then 2009 hit, and I lost all of them. Every one of those individuals had debt. They were leveraging debt. I never once heard someone, hey, I'm so-and-so, I have 50 homes free and clear, and 2009 hit and I lost every one of them. I just haven't heard that story, right? And so that was the story I was going off of, is to be honest, I don't want 100 doors. We probably still have 50 doors that we're trying to figure out what we want to do with. I don't want 100 doors. I don't like rentals like most people like them. I don't think they're passive like people think they're passive. Like I think they're great for tax purposes. So depreciation, and I think they're great for appreciation, but cash flow, everyone thinks there's cash flow. You leave a person in your home long enough, and that money is going outside. Yeah, leave it in your bank, because I promise you, a roof's going out, a toilet's going to flood something, a tenant's going to trash it. Something will happen where cash flow is the most loose term. When people's like, oh man, a cash flow is $500. I'm like, times 500 times 12, that's $6,000. I promise you, a tenant in 1 year can charge more than $6,000 in damage in your home. That is not cash flow. That's called still negative, because they're going to charge more than, they're going to cause more than $6,000 damage. So cash flow is not a thing for me. It's how do I lower my taxes to zero? How do I get appreciation from just holding on to it. Those are the only two reasons I have rentals. Cash flow, consider it gone.
Have you played any of the 1031 exchange game with any of your rentals? Because I'm sitting here wondering about that myself. I'm like, do I take the fortunate appreciation that I've had, take that equity out and reinvest in whatever, or just have a nice safety blanket? Or do I 1031 exchange it? What's your take on that? What kind of strategies have you thought about?
So I haven't done 1031. I've had 5 opportunities to do it. They're trickier than I thought. Like, here's what I learned. They're not only that you have to replace it with something that's higher value than what you just sold, but you also higher value. So if I sell something for 500 grand, I have to replace it with something for 501,000. So it has to be worth more than what I just sold that for. Wow. The second rule that people don't understand is if I had a note on that first home for 180,000, this is hypothetical, I'm making it up. The new one that you bought for 501 also has to have a note that's higher than 180,000. So there's 2 rules to 1031 that no one knows.
Wait, you have to have the debt?
You guys, I did not know this. I went down this road and I was like, oh, this is going to be easy. I'll find homes that are worth more than this. This is going to be great. They're like, oh, there's a second part to this. Your note has to be higher than what your current note is too. And I'm like, no, well, I changed the name of the game. I'm serious. I am dead serious. Go down that road and you're going to be like, well, this makes it now like not even fun anymore. And so there are other strategies. I don't say go do this, talk to the right people, but there are strategies out there where you can take out the money and you reinvest. You basically invest 15% towards, it can be Amazon buildings. And again, this is a structured thing through attorneys and CPAs. So you're not going to find this everywhere. And then you get the leftover. So basically you're getting taxed 15% and you get to now do what you want with the money, which is great. Capital gains, like it's the same thing, but that gets invested into a different investment that could potentially make you more money anyways. But I write it off. It's almost like, well, great. I just have control of my money and I paid 15% in taxes. So there's strategies out there, but 1031, I just never found a way, because you have to do it in a certain time frame. You have to locate a deal in X amount of days, and you have to close on that deal in X amount of days. And so it really is. It's great to kick the bucket down the road, but there's rules that have to be hit. And I could never find myself wanting to get more expensive real estate and more expensive debt personally.
Yeah, the whole debt thing is tricky. It sounds like it's most easy. There's less friction if you're doing like a free and clear deal and moving over, but overwhelming majority of people are probably not in that situation. That's super interesting.
I cannot believe that. I can't believe this is the first time I've heard of that.
Guys, this was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. You are not far behind. You
poked around all over and you asked a bunch of people?
Everywhere. Like the number one guy that is the custodian that holds your money in the state of Utah. He's like, there's no way around it. This is the way. And I'm like none? Like if I call a guy and he does this, he's like, no, there's no way around it. So I verified and they're like, no, he's absolutely right.
So one thing that blew my mind 2 years ago and came as a big surprise is when you get the depreciation through cost segregation or just really depreciation in general.
The payback when you sell it?
Well, there's the bonus depreciation recapture. I haven't experienced that yet, but I'm aware of it. So I did learn about that, which was not a fun surprise to learn about. The other thing I learned about was there's state and federal taxes. With federal taxes, you can go to the moon with your cost segregation, your bonus depreciation, all your depreciation to offset your income. In the state of California, at the very least, I can't speak to other states. The state of California, if that's done with your rentals, passive income, you can't have a negative passive income in California. So you can take your federal income with your rentals, write it down, take it to negative gazillion, bajillion, but you have a negative with your passive income? No. We don't consider that a loss. So how much did you really make in California? So you got to be really careful in California if you're counting on that to save you in taxes.
I love visiting California. I love everything about the weather. I love everything, but everything you just said does not surprise me.
Yeah.
I'm still a Utah resident. Let's go.
Are you?
You hold on to that bad boy.
This will be probably our last year because Zeno's in school and we don't travel as much. But I've been a Utah resident the entire time because we're out there 6 months.
I don't blame you.
And so it's been easy. But now this year will be interesting. It'll be fun. It'll be real fun.
It won't be.
Little slice. Cody, let's
Yeah,
talk
1031's tricky to end it.
Are you
on that
open to talking about how I remember talking to you like, bro, I only pay myself X amount of dollars. The rest of the money stays in the accounts. And we just shore up cash. And because a lot of people, when I first got started, I was like, bro, you got to be aggressive. The cash always has to move. And then Dean was my first friend who was like, no, bro, I just stack cash and then let the opportunities come. And then that way I feel more comfortable. Will you talk about like how you and Mark approach that strategy and how much you pay yourself? Because you don't pay yourself a ton of money.
Yeah, we do not. No, I mean, money's there at any given moment. We could cash out, close doors, and there's a lot of money sitting there. To my eyes, I wouldn't say a lot of money in the world's eyes, but a lot of money in my eyes. Yeah, we just pay ourselves $5,000 a week. So I take out 20 grand from the company. Mark pays out 20 grand to him every month. Now, that's not to say that I don't have other sources of income. I do one-on-one coaching. I have private clients. In fact, I'm hosting my event here in St. George on Thursday and Friday that have private clients that are coming in for specifically that event. So yes, there's other income coming in, but no, we just roll it forward. And the reason is everyone that's been in the game at least long enough, like sometimes you can get into the game and all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is great. But it's very cyclical and you don't know which 6 months are going to hit hard. And you don't know which 6 months are going to hit like great and which 6 months are going to hit bad. But typically we've seen, and it changes. There's nothing straight about real estate investing either. Like, oh, here's what it is. Like historically, every January we do this. It's like, there is no history. It changes every year, but typically we have seen we make our money in the same, not in the same 6 months, but 6 months of the year you have it hit strong, but you've got to have money to float you on the 6 months that don't hit strong during the year. So we like it for that reason, so that we can always just make sure that lights stay on, bills get paid, salaries are paid. The other thing is being able to self-fund our own fix and flips versus paying more interest, but now we charge the company interest. So you can do that so that you're saving over here with our wholesaling business. That's an expense. So it brings your taxable income down. But then you have this other side that is making consistent money that's going and growing as well. But yeah, I never want to be the one that when the tide goes out, you see who has their swimming shorts off, right? Like, it's like, I want to make sure I'm protected all the way around. And we do that. And we've lived a modest salary from that means. And we've always done really well with that.
Did something happen to you that switched that for you? To like, I'm not doing that shit again. Like, this is the philosophy moving forward. Or has it always been that way?
It's always been that way from day one. We just were those conservative people that did that. Yeah, it's never hurt us. It's always done good because we have so much money to protect us. We were able to buy rentals free and clear when the opportunity comes. So I don't know if that's what you meant by when Dean says, "Hey, so when opportunity comes, you're prepared and ready." But
like you're
that's
prepared
definitely what
for
it was
a new
for
business
us.
opportunity. You're prepared
Yes.
for rentals, whatever you want it to be. You are flush with cash, and you're like, okay, I can make it happen.
Cash is king. Like, cash is king. We bought the car wash. It was $1.4 million. Here's an interesting story. Bought a car wash. They said it was $1.4 million, and it brought in like $190,000 a year in quarters because they didn't have the credit card on it. It's a self-serve. And she claimed that to the state that she was only making 20 grand. So she would take, people would put dollar bills in her cash machine. And it'd spit out the quarters. They take the quarters, spend the quarters. She'd put the quarters back in the machine and take the cash and live off the cash. And so it's a great system for her, but I can't go to the bank and get a loan on that because it's based off of $20,000. And so the bank's like, I'm not lending you 1.4 million. It shows it made 20 grand. And she's like, well, it doesn't make 20 grand. I'm like, they don't care about what you said it's going to be. This is how you've been reporting it. So we got that at a killer deal. We bought it for 900,000. Well, go or a bank or a harsh loan. Still have the change.
Cody, that internet's cutting out on you again, bro.
Uh-oh. How's it now?
It's good now.
Is it good now? Okay, sorry about that, guys. Anyways, we bought it for $900,000. We've owned it for 5 months. It produces the 190. We've now upgraded it with the money that's coming in to now accept credit cards. So it upped it another 20% of what it makes and brings in every single year. And now we have people saying, hey, we'll give you a bank loan for 1.2 million. And we're like, hey, that's 300,000 more than we bought it for. And it still cash flows. Now that is cash flow because there's not much tenants, there's not much moving parts, but that is a business model that brings in money. Cash was king on that.
That's killer.
I love that.
So I got a question from the people. So one of my students, Danny here, he's asking, can Cody talk about the 3 tips about building enterprise value and also how taking that personal income affects the EBITDA at the point of selling off a company? And are there any pro tips for that? So Danny,
dude, this is deep.
It is deep. He's in real estate. He's getting in the game, but he's also a very successful insurance guy. Okay. Yeah. So he's got many insurance offices. He's got a partner as well, and super energetic dudes crushing it, getting after it. So he's got that question for you.
Yeah, I would say he's got to break that down. This is how you'll see that I am not an educated man with some of the questions he's asking. So EBITDA, I couldn't even tell you what EBITDA is other than I understand what it is. I couldn't even tell you what EBITDA stands for. And so this is a great question. I would love to hear him break it down into Cody's terms. By Cody's terms, I literally mean dumb that bad boy down on what he wants, and I'll see if I can answer it. That was a bunt. I laid a bunt down, fellas. How would you answer that? How would you answer that? How do you understand that so I can maybe get further understanding from your guys' side?
That's a smart person question right there. Ask the other guy to see what their question is.
Right.
That's a pro move right there, and I definitely use that oftentimes. So
what's your net profit? Like what was it? How does your net profit
talk about the 3 tips about building enterprise value and also taking the
Let's start with the 3 tips.
So here's a follow-up question. Does the amount of income you take affect the sale?
Affect the sale of what?
The amount of income.
The insurance company.
So let's say the insurance company, right? The amount of income you take, does it affect the sale of your business?
So insurance was different. I didn't have any business partners on that. That was all mine. What I did is, yes, I gave myself a salary, but how the insurance world works, at least in Utah, or at least I would say standard. Now, he could be at a point when you're saying he's got a ton of offices across the nation. Mine wasn't. Mine was a little mom and pop Cody Hoffine shop. With that, my commissions based off of that was I wasn't making that much money. I was making about $175,000 a year. With 4 kids, that's not that much as people think, oh, that's healthy. That's decent. I'm like, be married and have 4 kids. It doesn't go that far. What I will say how that worked for me and insurance, because it didn't have this massive EBITDA that maybe he has. And that is, I sold it for 2 times my payable commission. So I sold that first business for $350,000. It's just 2 times the 175 of what I was taking home. So it didn't matter about if I paid myself $20,000 a month or $5,000 a month.
I just paid you 2x revenue and called it a day.
That's correct.
What would you say the 3 tips are for creating enterprise value? Like when you sold Wholesaling Inc., I feel like that one's like enterprise value wise. What did you?
That was not built to sell good. Like that was, if you think about it, think about what you said when you got on. You didn't say, "Oh my gosh, I remember your systems and processes, and they were amazing." And I remember how awesome this was. No, you said the problem with that business model. Oh my gosh, I got on a podcast and I heard Tom, Cody, and Brent. We were the faces. It wasn't that big of a sellout, guys. Like that wasn't a big sell. And it wasn't anything that brought that could fetch big money, even though it was doing $6 million in coaching every single year. Like it didn't have a massive sell because it wasn't built to sell. Joe Homebuyer now is completely different. Most people would say, I don't even know who Joe Homebuyer is. And the second of all is they say, I don't even know who owns Joe Homebuyer. To that, I say, well done. I built this one well this time, because I don't want to be the one that's known to own Joe Homebuyer. Because the more I can remove myself from it, the more sellable it is. And so we're building this completely off of the systems, the softwares, the blueprint that is replicatable for people to tap into and go build $1 million blueprint, $1 million business. Because we're building it that way, now this EBITDA that he's talking about, it gets really good because in the franchise world, you get above $1 million and you're already at like a 7x, 8x EBITDA. You get that EBITDA above 2 million and 3 million, it turns to like 10 to a 12x. And then you get that even higher and you see the math. Like you start getting to 5 million, it's not far to get a 14x on that 5 million.
I just heard Alex Hormozi talking about this. The difference between $1 million revenue generation business to 5 is just like absolutely game changer. And when you get to the 5, that's when you have the big, hedge funds and private equity companies that are looking for those size businesses, and they're not looking for less. So if you can get it to that, it's where the multiples really change.
We've been approached, to his point. So because we built it the way we built it, and because we're gaining great traction on it, we have been approached by two private equity groups. One of them is our competitor, by the way, approached to buy us out. And the other one was Princeton private equity group. They came and approached us to purchase us out. And we're just at this moment, it just doesn't make sense. It's been the heaviest lift ever, like far heavier than I ever did at Wholesaling Inc. It is a crazy, massive amount of time. It is awesome because it's been the vision, it's been the goal, but no, like the good is to come. Like the heavy lifting, now that we have momentum going, like it just gets great going forward.
What made it such a heavy lift?
You're starting from zero. It's proof of concept. Like no one knows who Joe Homebuyer is. No one knows why it's called Joe Homebuyer. There's so many things about it. And if you think about it, no one else was in the game. This is what's crazy. You had one franchise in the real estate space, one. And everyone thought it's a monopoly. It was. And then everyone's like, there's got to be a reason why there's not 2, 3, 4, 5. There was. When we got into it, instantly we started getting lawsuits trying to shut us down and squash us. And we just pushed forward. We just kept going. Oh, yeah. Like it's
Did
nuts.
they fall off?
And
how did that get handled?
Just push forward like you don't care. And then pretty soon you have more steam when you're connected to X people of their company, X owners of their company. And I'm connected to every one of them. And they're like, get on my podcast. Let's go live. Let's go talk about this now that it's public. And I was like, hey guys, we're going public. And they're like, hey, never mind. We'll let it go. I'm like, all right, see you later.
That's dope.
So there's ways to combat it. And thank goodness you start to see hindsight, why those relationships, networking's everything. I networked with the greatest of all the coaches out there and they're all ready to put me live. They're like, let's go. Like, if they're going to do that to you guys, let's go. Like, let's get live. So it was great.
So let's talk about networking. You live in an area where you've got this big, massive house, but you said you're the small guy, right?
Small guy.
And Strat gave me a hard time about this because I was living just months ago in La Jolla, 2 blocks from the beach, driving a golf cart every day. My neighbors had $20 million houses, like I was 2 blocks from the beach. The houses on the beach were $20 million, $15 million, in the teens. There was nothing but wealth surrounding me. For me, the one, again, it wasn't a focus and maybe it was a miss. Like my time and day was spent working on the business and then spending time with the kids. Yeah, I'd socialize at, coaching my kids in sports. And I did get a couple private money lenders from it, but I didn't really like actively pursue business relationships. Let's sit down for lunch, any of that kind of stuff. Are you currently proactively, intentionally networking in your backyard? Because I know you've got basically a business that's nationwide, and you might live within your four walls in your house, focusing on your business. Are you proactively networking in your backyard? And if you are, what are you doing about it?
That's a great question. So networking for me is an absolute necessary, like it's a necessity. Absolutely spend time on it. But I have to look at it much like creating content. So if you see like content on my page, you'll see that it really is just a camera set up on the other side of this computer, standing up. And all I'm doing is just capturing my day, sending the recordings off to my video guy, and he chops it up and finds gold nuggets in there and does it. So networking, I wish I don't golf with people. I think that's 4 hours that you'll never get back.
It's a
And
long time.
it really is. Like when someone's like, "Do you want to go golfing?" I'm like, "I know what you're doing. You want 4 hours, and I don't have it."
You want to golf?
Yeah. But I don't really go to lunches either, because then you don't know how to kindly say it's time to go. Like, so it's just one of those things that I have my boundaries. But what I do is do it during the things that are already part of my day, much like filming content. I don't try to create content because that would create more things that I have to do during the day. So I just capture my day for my content. With networking, while I'm at the gym, I'm chatting with people, and it's called fitness culture. It's awesome. Down here, you got the Vassas and things like that are $10, and you sit on the bench and half of them are broke. This is not that. This is like a high classy gym. Steve Cook is the founder of it. I think it's Gymshark, if I remember right. But he is this gym's awesome, and all the people there are just high caliber people. And guards down at that gym. And so you'll be doing this one day. It's just, hey, because I got my headphones in, they got their headphones in. Maybe the next day is like, hey, I see you casually here every single day. Good work. And then over like a month, all of a sudden you're like talking for a second. And then that networking just naturally happens. I never force networking as much as it's just a natural high, because those are the easiest ways to go deeper with people, is when they've known you for months, and then you can ask them whatever you want. You can ask them what they do in their business, how they made their money. The other one is church. I love going to church for the fact that guard is down. You're just an equal person within those walls of the church. And so we have some very, very successful people, from billionaires to hundreds of millionaires. I am nowhere near that, not even close. And they're just right there, and they come up to you and shake your hand, and you sit there and talk to them. And it's all about just talking on common ground. And then the other day I happened to call that billionaire. Is just Monday. So today Tuesday?
Yeah.
It was yesterday. Yep. Yesterday at 2:30, I had a call with that guy for a half hour. And I was just like, hey, first and foremost, I'm grateful for this time. And I just talked to him about my life and what I'm doing, and see how I can just think bigger. And he gave me some like pointers. But then I asked him for like mentorship. Does he do that stuff? And he's like, really, it's in this space. He was a mentor for Ed Mylett for 3 decades.
Wow.
So this guy's a big dude, and he's literally right here. Like, it's crazy. But I just make networking to say, yes, it's important. Yes, you must do it. But ultimately, have it be part of your life, so you're not spending time away from also what's important, like you did, Dean. I don't think you did anything wrong. And that is, you got to work on the business, or it doesn't work out.
Yeah. What were some of the tips you got from your billionaire friend there?
So he was all about thinking big, owning the business, like each one of us do. But then more importantly, you can only go so big by yourself. So John Maxwell, for example, he was at the Family Mastermind.
Yep.
John Maxwell said, don't show me your dreams, show me your teams, because you can go further with your team. Like, you can accomplish any dream when you have the right team. And so it's all about big teams. So he did a financial, I think it's called like Global World Financial, GWF, if I remember right.
WFG.
And WFG, is that what it is?
WFG.
Okay. World Financial Group, maybe.
Yeah.
So he starts this, and it's goes literally global. And one of the people that build the biggest, like one of the biggest people for him, is Ed Mylett. And he built his whole entire empire under this. And there's thousands of Ed Myletts sitting under this corporation. And so his was just, how do you continually just think big, and how do you get the right team in place? But his standards and his way of being is just top notch. And so he lives step by step what he preaches. He's all about faith. He's all about family, finances, and fitness. And the dude is just a great human being, and he's not arrogant. He doesn't disrespect your time because you're nowhere near his wealth or where his net worth is. He is just an incredible human being.
Those are all my F's as well.
Okay.
Like, for these team members, was he like, hey, at a point in time, if you want to reach this goal, you're going to have to bring in really high level people and give up equity so you can actually get to that next level? Was he talking to you about this stuff, or no?
Yes. So there's 2 parts to that, right? The first part is you've got that you have to have A players, but what most people hide is that you'll never find A players. You have to attract them. And so he was mentioning that too. He's like, Cody, you continue down the road you're going. Continue just becoming a better version of yourself every single day. He even used the words like, our goal on earth is to become more like God. And if that's the goal, then you simply attract those people that are on that same journey. Those are your A players. And he says, but you never find A players. A players are looking for A leaders. So if you're a B leader, you're going to find B talent. You only find a mirror image of who you are. And so those are principles I've lived by for years. And he just like, it lets me know I'm on the right path. You attract a big business. You attract A players. You attract a fantastic relationship with your spouse. You attract a great relationship with your kids. And that's all done with the personal work you're doing on yourself. Your biggest investment's not your business or your home, it's you. And as I become someone better each and every day, I'm able to show up better as a husband, show up better as a father, show up better as a business partner, lead and guide my team without emotion and without anger, but with great energy and with the emotions that actually serve me. So if someone does something wrong, I don't micromanage. I just go in there and help them. And I lead it by just our core values and just say, hey, I noticed this point where one of our core values is honesty. And I heard you say this. Can you tell me a little bit more about it? Versus old Cody would have been like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, you're going to show up and do that on a phone call? Like, that never goes good. And it didn't go good when I was like that. So it's just reminding myself, as I have become better, so is business. Business is the byproduct of just, in fact, it was the quote with Jim Rohn, rarely does a man's income exceed his level of personal development. As we just become better, we simply attract money versus chasing it.
What does your day look like, and where are you implementing your self-development?
Yeah. So morning routine kind of switches. With teenagers, I still enjoy, like, when I say my sleep, like, my body does really well with like 7 hours of sleep. And so if my kids come home late, which I give them their weekends, but the weekdays, those are kind of me and Wendy's, my wife. And so we want to be in bed. And this, for most people that have 4 kids, they'd say, how are you in bed by 9:30? That's just our rules. We get in bed and we're in bed by 9:30 so we can wake up between like 5 and 6 naturally. We don't set alarms. Our bodies naturally just wake up at that time, and we'll hit to the gym. If for some reason we had to sleep, our body sleeps in a little bit longer because it's a little bit later night, then it starts with, okay, we've got 20, 30 minutes before the kids are going to wake up. And maybe it's just literally going out back and doing journaling. And you guys got to see just a glimpse when I held the computer up. Like, we have a specific spot. We built this home with such intentionality. We have a water like feature that you can hear the noise of the water feature going while we're just sitting there journaling, while we're reading like a Kindle or a book. So morning routine's massive. When you win the morning, you win the day. It kind of changes for me. I wouldn't say that one is the most structured. It's I would say 80% of the days are the same, with workout being part of it. But then there's days that it doesn't work that way, and I do a midday workout.
Are you part of any country clubs down there?
I am not. No.
The appeal of being down there for me, where I feel like I'd meet a lot of the good people.
Yeah, I'm sure they're there. But again, I don't have 4 hours to go meet people. So I just find my networking in different ways is all. Introductions, go to someone's house because they're going to be there for fight night. And it's like, oh, okay, I'll be there. Like, I just find where it's just natural flow of my own life, where I'm not walking away or stepping away from either husband responsibility or father responsibility or even business owner responsibility. So it really does flow with my business versus trying to go and break these rules to go start that rule.
Do you cut off your day at like a certain time? Like with 4 kids, I feel like it becomes more and more necessary to where Dean is the best blended person I've seen. I can't blend the way Dean, like, I'll be on the phone with him. He'll have 2 kids. He's holding them. He's got the other one running around screaming. And he's just like moving through it like nothing's even happening. I'm like, hey, bro, I need to lock in for these hours so I can be a good dad when it's all done and I can like drop everything. So like, what are you like that way?
Yeah, I would be, Dean, kudos to you, dude. Now that doesn't mean I don't bring them. Dean, you might've been there when I brought my daughter to Family.
I was going to bring that up. I got a question for you about that, but keep going.
Yeah. So I bring them to things. I brought my boy, you came to our Joe Homebuyer event. Bentley was right there, like learning, because that means more to me than going to school, to be completely honest.
Oh, yeah.
But like having my kids run around me right now, like I would be a squirrel, dude. I'd be like, this would be the worst podcast you guys ever hosted. Sorry, it's my fault. And I'm not good at that. So mine is, it's not equal time, Strat. So maybe this will answer your question. When I say I live a balanced life, balance to me is not equal time in all the areas. it means I'm fully present in the area I'm at. So when I'm on a podcast, I'm fully present. I'm not worried about what's going on outside. I'm not worried about what's going on at my business. I'm not worried about what's going on with my kids and my wife. I am worried about you guys and seeing how I just want to make sure I deliver the value I'm supposed to deliver on this podcast. When I'm at church, I'm at church. When I'm at work, I'm at work. When I'm with my family, I'm with my family. And so that's how but it's not equal time. It's far from equal, but it does get my presence, my full presence.
Yeah.
If that answers.
That's how I like to approach it.
How have you been able to like get your brain tuned into that? Because naturally, like as business owners, we're always thinking about this thing and that thing and this problem we need to fix and this exciting idea we want to go implement and do. I have my own things, but how have you been able to get yourself to be present in the moment?
I went through a little struggle, guys. So this is a vulnerable moment if you want to hear this one. So wholesaling Inc. was a big deal. That was the biggest thing I'd ever done in my life. It went from a $175,000 salary to we were taking home well over 7 figures, both of us, me and Tom. And we were doing very, very well. And for me, that was incredibly well, like more than I had deserved. It was crazy. That had a cost to it. It had a cost of staying up late, taking calls from students, because we did everything. Like I'm saying, we poured our whole heart, mind, and strength into this business. So if someone called us at 6, instead of saying, sorry, like we'll talk to you on the Wednesday call when it's the Wednesday call, but like this isn't part of the program that you bought, we'd take the call. I'd take the call. And sometimes Wendy would join me because there's a couples that they're not supporting each other. I'm like, I don't know. Let me see what Wendy would say. And Wendy would join me on some of these calls. And it came at a cost, even though we built something great and is paying us amazing. And there's gratitude in my heart for everything that journey brought. There was a lot of time away from my wife. There was a lot of time away from my kids. And so when you say, how do you grow into this? It was straight reflection. Experiences are not the mother of all learning. It's the reflection upon the experiences that are the mother of all learning. I do spend a lot of time, guys. I journal a ton. Like we're only into, what are we in? April, and I'm already halfway done with this book. Like I journal all the time, and I always reflect what I learned during that moment. Guys, when I sold Wholesaling Inc., there was a year and a half. It was dark. Like I'd go on walks and I'd just cry. Like I would literally sob on these walks, and people would see me like just crying. I had some people that asked me what's going on, and it's like, I lost who I was. I lost my identity. I was the hype guy. I was a podcaster. I was the coach of coaches. And overnight that changed, and it rocked my world. There was a year and a half. I was completely lost, guys. Like I cried all the time because I was like, I don't know who I am and what I'm supposed to do anymore. And it took years to find that and get that back. So that's Dean, when you ask, how did you do it? I found out that money doesn't buy happiness. It doesn't buy anything at all. You can be making 60 grand and you can still have a great marriage. You can still be a great father. Money doesn't change that. And I was grateful for that experience at Wholesaling Inc. because I made plenty of money, and I found out quick. It doesn't change my lifestyle or change anything. It actually took away from it.
Do you think the Joe Homebuyer thing and really getting that ramped up helped you get out of that funk because you found a purpose again?
Yes, not at the very beginning. Not at the very beginning. It does take moving when you don't want to move. I just had to keep moving. I had to keep going. And I would say the other part of that is I have really, really just close relationship with my wife and a really, really close relationship with my kids. And I just focused on that. Like I doubled down my energy on that and effort on that. And that helped more than anything. And so kind of going back to like the work, when does your work day end? I like to end by 2:00, and visionaries are not meant to be in an office till 8:00. Like we're paid to think big things, and rarely do my best ideas come from the walls of my office. They happen when I'm on walks, when I'm at the park. It's just like a gym. You guys are both fit individuals. You're not going to go work your bicep up 7 days a week. There would be no point to that. Your body needs to break down, and it's during the healing process, the rest, that it actually bulks up and gets big. And we don't treat our brain that way. So many people are like, oh yeah, I'm just a working warrior. I work 80-hour weeks. And it's like, okay, you're just bashing your brain. Like, that's great, but where's the rest to let it like rebuild and get better and bigger? And that's only done through rest, refuel. And so I'm very intentional about making sure that there's a time where I shut off and I go for a walk and rest the brain and go get some great ideas.
I'll go first. Yeah, I wanted to transition because this is all like super good stuff right here. So talking about family, I know family's big to you. Family's huge to me. Family's huge to Strat. How have you been able to incorporate your kids? Because you just had your daughter out at the mastermind we're a part of, and she was on stage, right? She talked about the family values, core values, and like that was huge. It definitely hit home to me really big. It inspired me to do even better in many areas with my kids. Even to like little things, just like I just shared on my daily huddle with my team this morning. One of the things I was grateful for was just like yesterday and the week before, my friend group, they have a men's adult league, soft pitch, softball. They wanted me to be a part of. I'd rather play basketball, but hey, I'll do it for the friends. And I had my two older boys come out with me last week, and I hit a home run for them when they were there, and they just thought I was a freaking god, like
you're like, it's a watermelon.
Yeah. They just looked at me like I was a superhero, and it was awesome, right? And I was crushing it out there, hit a home run. And then they came out again last night. My wife brought the whole family out, all 5 kids, and came to support, watch me play. And it was I was really grateful for it. It was really special for them to see dad, in his element, playing sports and be there. You could just see it in their eyes, looking up and asking questions, really into it, loving it, right? So like, what are the different ways you've incorporated your kids into your life and into your business? And what are some tips you could give me, so that I could implement some of these things and for the listeners?
Man, I wouldn't say I don't want to say proclaim I am so perfect and have the best knowledge, but I'll share some things that, I'll share some things that have definitely worked and have been amazing. So yes, you got to witness bringing my daughter to Family Mastermind, and there's probably 150, 200 people in the audience. I don't know. And she stood up and shared our family motto, and she just killed it. She did a great job, and I was proud of her. Afterwards, we went to Universal, and we left a day early so we could go down to Universal for the day, and that was fun. Bentley came out to our Joe Homebuyer conference just in March that you spoke at, and that was incredible. Those are priceless moments, and you see his mind just working. He's like, "Hey, when I get back, I'm gonna start cold calling, Dad." And I'm like, "Man, he's known I've been doing this for 10 years." But when Brent Daniels stood up, something connected with him where he's like, "I'm gonna go do that." Yep. And so I think a big thing that I will tell you that has worked for us is the environment means everything. And the people you choose to surround yourself with means everything. So we hang out, Strat, the Johnsons, Blake and Jerry are,
you have a son named Stratton, Dean, by the way.
They do.
Must be good family.
And they're my parents' neighbor.
Yeah, no way.
Like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're my
these people neighbor. Are
awesome.
Just top-notch individuals. And when we go and hang out, you can hear Blake and Jerry like saying, "Hey, Kenley, how's this?" Or Blake talking to Bentley, "Hey, how's basketball going? Oh, have you ever thought about this?" And it's like we live the same values. And so culture's everything, and hanging out with people, not for the sake of just hanging out, but truly selecting people that elevate your kids. That's been game changer for me. My business partner, Mark Stubler, and his family, same thing. I know whatever they're going to say, I'm going to be like, yes. Like, yes, I love that. Thank you for sharing that for my boy or for my girl. We go to Lake Powell together. We go on vacations together. So that's big. And then the other one that's super fun is with my daughter, specifically, because the other ones don't want to do it. We have a journal. It's not this one. It is on my nightstand by my bed. It's a yellow journal. And I write 3 questions, and then she answers the questions and then writes 3 questions to me. And I do it strategically. I'm like, "Hey, what's your favorite song? Hey, what's your favorite flower? Hey, what's your favorite restaurant?" And I kind of choke up when I share this because she shared everything. And it was one of the funnest dates I've ever had with my daughter because I bought her favorite flowers. We listened to her favorite song. We went to her favorite restaurant. And so it was perfect. It was priceless. And
That's so
there's
cool,
strategic things that you can do to just show up and make sure you are just doing the best you can. We're not perfect. We're far from perfect, but man, we sure try to be the best we can. And there's just so many little strategies and things from I'm standing on the shoulders of greats that have shared things with me. But those are just some quick ones that maybe come to mind.
Dang, that one was good, man. You almost made me cry
Right?
here. Shoot.
Right,
Holding
I
it
got
back.
nothing like that one.
You keep talking, I'm gonna hold back. Yeah. No, that's some good stuff right there. I'm gonna be working to implement the questions. I think that's a really great way because it's not just the question, but it's like the physical part of writing it down. There's more connection through doing that, I believe. So that's huge. That's cool.
We got another thing from the people. I'm in Utah as well, and I'm currently doing sales, getting into real estate. Any advice or anyone here that would like to network? Cody, what would be the best way for this guy to network? To actually,
oh my gosh, you want to get into real estate? I would say join Salt Lake Real Estate Investor Association. That's where I started. There's some great people in there. There are people that are humble, coachable, like they're here to help you. And then I would always tell you, everyone at the beginning stages, I would say, I'm okay with taking 10% of a watermelon than 100% of a grape. And what I mean by that is partner with people. Don't be so crazy to think I'm going to go figure this out on my own so I can have 100% of a grape, because you'll probably not negotiate it low enough. You probably won't be able to find a buyer that will buy your deal. I would find someone in Utah that you look up to, someone you would physically trade places with. Let me give you an example. If I wanted to make $1 million, Braden, I wouldn't go to a Walmart bagger and say, how would I make $1 million? It's just not going to work. It's not going to add up, right? Same thing. Go to that Real Estate Investor Association and just go for the next 3, 4, 5 months. And you'll see the person that resonates, that pops out, that you're like, I would trade that person places in real estate investing. Go up to them. And if they say, hey, here's how you can go out and do deals, be willing to partner with it, bring it back, because they're going to coach you. And it's not going to be like school where you pay money and then come out of school and still only make 40,000, wondering how you're going to pay back that school. This is like you're getting taught and you're going to get paid by just implementing and getting close with someone right there in a local real estate investor association group, and be willing to part ways with whatever they ask on that deal because it taught you the way. And now that you know the way, just go throw gasoline on it and go do it a lot more times.
And avoid Renatus. Avoid Renatus.
And avoid Renatus.
Avoid
AKA,
Renatus.
what was it called before? Wasn't it called like Nouvelle Riche?
I have no
first time it was Nouvelle Riche. Is out of California. And then it's bankrupt and they rebranded as Renatus.
Because I remember when I first got started in Salt Lake, like I went back and like wanted to go network, and it was this like huge Renatus event. And I was like, this isn't a meetup. I'm getting pitched. And like they do it all the time. So go to just Sloria is a great one. Sloria
is the best. Salt Lake Real Estate Investor Association. Go there. Dominic Delgado, I believe, is the president currently. Go look him up and go join on the next Sloria group.
And then Cody, last thing, do you have any tips on raising money? Because I feel like your brand has helped you raise a lot of money. How are you going out and raising money for deals and stuff that you're doing?
Do you know what? This is one I'm going to steal a card from Dan Martell, a friend of, I don't know if he's a friend of you guys too. Awesome author, incredible human being. He's the one that wrote Buy Back Your Time, like phenomenal individual. Dan Martell, we were sitting talking in my home in South Jordan, and he says, Cody, whatever you want more of, make sure you're posting about that. Like, quit being like so quiet in your life. He's like, your social media sucks. I mean, he called me out, straight up called me out. He's like, your social media sucks. He's like, you want to do more speaking? Then do posts with you speaking on stage. You want more coaching clients? Then show more posts of you coaching. He's like, if you want more money, then show posts of you money. So I will say I'm going to re-share what I think is some of the best knowledge I received just a short time ago when Dan Martell was sitting in my living room. And that is, whatever you want more of, make sure everyone knows about it, because that is the secret sauce. It's no different than someone with a massive list, email list, versus someone that has a small email list. If we both pitch the same product with the same marketing, who's going to win? The one that has the bigger list. Period. The end. It's the same thing. more people need to know about what you're doing. There's a lot of people out there, but they have no clue what you want, so they don't know how to bring it to you. Opportunity surrounds you. You just got to tell the world what you want.
Bro, I love it. Dino, do you have any
I
parting
do love
words?
that.
Any parting questions?
I mean, anytime I'm around you, Cody, I just my heart feels warm. I know you're just a good dude to the core, and always love talking to you, man. So this has been one of my favorite episodes, just on some of the things we connect on a personal level. It just really really connects with me. I know there's been comments all over my Instagram, YouTube on the side, lots of people just being like, "Wow, I'm so glad I got on this live video." You know, like this has been huge. So thanks for being here with us today, man.
Thank you again for coming on, Cody. Give the
Yes,
people
you guys,
whatever your last
thank you.
words are.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. I truly do believe in you can have whatever you want in life. I really, really do. But it does require you to become a better version of yourself each and every day. Don't get stagnant. Don't get comfortable. Always work on yourself. That's the greatest investment you have, is just you. So personal development before business. Like at the end of the day, your business will be as big as only as you are. And so go get big, and then you will grow and attract the biggest business you could ever want.
I love it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And Cody, where can they find you?
They can find me at Cody Hotbine on Instagram, and that's where I'm most active. I have a Facebook account. I just don't do much in there, but you can go reach me out on Facebook too, and maybe I'll find you one day, or maybe someone will tell me, someone messaged me in there. But Instagram is going to be the easiest. And then you can also, CodyHotbine.com will have more updates coming with coaching platforms and monthly involvement, where they can get me to coach them on a monthly basis in a group setting. That's coming really, really soon, guys.
I love it. Thank you so much again, Cody. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Take care, gentlemen.